Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of our podcast, Design Diner, where we discuss design news, interesting rebrands, and pretty much anything going on in the design space. I'm Adam, and co hosting today with me is,
Adam, hey, I'm Adam as well.
yeah, so we have the same name, so that's going to be pretty funny. All right, so we have a few topics lined up for today. Um, One of them is, for example, Microsoft rebranding their icons. We're going to talk about Figma and some stuff going on the social media. So perhaps do you want to start us off with the first topic?
Yeah, sure, we can. Will you like bring it up on the screen as
Yeah,
well? Or
give
okay,
me a
cool.
second.
So first of all, like we know that Microsoft is putting a ton of money into like the whole rebranding campaign and the motion videos and stuff they do. And I really, really dig it, right? It's awesome. They have like an amazing team behind all of this. And I was like privileged to talk with some of the people that worked on this. Only on Slack, but I know like Wes, that's doing the 3D and motion. He's like an amazing guy. So yeah, we can like talk about how this changes, or if it changes anything that Microsoft tries to be. Like, does this open routes to rebrand the whole suite? So will the Excel and stuff get like, UI refresh as well, or is it just the icons and the products stay the same?
Yeah. I like you said, I really like their product videos. I feel like they're like super high end, but then when you open the apps, it's not that great, right? Like I feel like their apps got kind of left behind, and the team that's working on the branding is like separate, completely separate from them. So I like the rebrand of the icons, but also at the same time I feel like it's like, why I don't really get the point except like marketing.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot with my like this is beautiful, right? Like this looks gorgeous. But I think it really plays into the like history of the two companies, like Microsoft versus Apple. And Microsoft has been trying a lot, like be very similar to Apple, maybe like go a different route in some of the stuff they do. But like if you'd ask me, this is way better than some liquid glass stuff. Like this is way better, and I think it won't really impact the software as well. The speed and stuff. So yeah, but do you think there's a chance of Microsoft like redoing the Word or Excel, and if it even makes sense because like people are so used to using it, like would it hurt or like help it? So
Yeah, so I think unlike you compare a little bit Microsoft and Apple, like right, their graphics, their design. I feel like Microsoft is in entirely different position with their apps, because they have to support a lot of computers, right? A lot of old systems, people running their old software, while Apple sort of doesn't really care, and they just redo the product when they feel like it. And most people aren't using old macOS systems, right? Like 10 years old or something like that. But for Windows, it's a different story. You can still find people using Windows 7 and they are refusing to switch. So I think Microsoft is not going to make huge changes to the apps. Honestly, I think they just cannot do it, or it's like super hard to do it because their apps are so robust and so like attached to the way their for example business users use it, that are not able to make huge changes. I hope they're going to slightly improve on the design side, but then again, I remember Microsoft Teams getting like hyped up rebrand, and then when you actually use the product, it's still the same and it's very hard to use, and sometimes you see like a little cool illustration, but that's about it. Yeah.
yeah,
um,
so you think it's like purely just marketing and nothing else will happen based on like a lot of different factors, like how difficult this can be, as
mhm.
you said, like rebranding the product because people are so used to and it's so robust. It's like we can compare this to After Effects as well, right? It's like very, very old tool, and it's just been bloated. Well, bloated isn't probably the right word, but it's like huge right now. And like creating it again from the ground up is probably impossible the way people use it. So this is probably the case as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Especially because they didn't really even like reveal anything new in the blog. They just showed off icons and they said it's gonna like put them in a new direction, more like towards the AI era. But they didn't really showcase any product changes. Like, do you remember? Do you remember like any time when Apple, for example, just showcased new icons and nothing else?
Yeah, well, that happened like last year, right? Was it the like the colors on iPhone and stuff? I think, or 2 years back.
I feel
I
like,
think
but I feel like that was more of a general overhaul.
customized. Yeah.
They also like showcase changes right within the apps, like how they're going to change the UI of it,
But
and
yeah, well,
like
that
introduce these icons.
yeah, not really. No, it's like I don't think like I know it's very hard to push this harder, and part of this is muscle memory, right? So if you just change slight bits and pieces of the software, people will be mad either way because you know you have shortcuts tied to it, you have the position where it was to it, and like people have just muscle memory of they using it every day. But I'd love to see it though. Like this is very nice and unified and like fits together. So this is like a complete, well done branding with like lovely motion and great marketing. So if it would be like a new product, that would be great. But yeah, I think we both know that this is probably not possible. But it begs the question, like, why do it if you're not doing the rebranding at all, like of the product
Hmm.
itself?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is just marketing and the Microsoft being such a huge company. I feel like the two departments might not be very well connected to each other because you just have like a huge company moving towards some direction, but there's a design team and then there's engineering team, and the engineering team in this case I think has it like 100 times harder to actually make the changes. So
Totally.
in my opinion the design team is ahead here, and I'm hoping to see them improve the products as well, but honestly who knows.
And this is like pretty new, right? This is like the last 3 to 4 years, I think, that's Microsoft being like revealing these like very eye candy, beautiful animations and motion to like market their product. So yeah, as you said, there's a big gap between the actual design, you, and then the marketing. But it nevertheless it looks very nice, right? Like this is lovely.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of things that look very nice, we found this interesting, what do you call it, motion reel, or like just graphic motion experiment from a studio, which basically did this just as experiment to test out some concepts, and it got a lot of attention. And to me, this sort of signifies like a change in the industry that we are moving towards, and it's like motion design, right? Everyone now does motion design, or at least tries to. I guess my question towards this would be if you think we can still even do high level design work without motion design.
That's hard, right? Like obviously I think we can, but there's the but always. And I think these days, if you look at like some other designers that do it really well like this, it's mostly logo designers that do it, but like this is, this is a branding video as well, it looks like. So it's very hard to get attention without the motion these days. And if the motion is well done like this, like you're combining 3D and a 2D shape and telling sort of a story of this little ball, you're aiming at the emotions of the users, and like this is pretty memorable, right? Like if you would go and see this on social media, you'll probably like remember this and like connect to the brand and this little ball emotionally. So it's yes, but I don't think it's like, as you said, we are moving towards the motion side of design, and we've been like for the past 2 years, because it's been first of all made very easy by Midjourney, and like obviously Midjourney can't do this, but it can help you like present a branding, for example, on a little motion card and loop video, and this opens up a lot of possibilities where motion is expected from the clients, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Especially, I think it also what also restricts or moves us towards the motion design now is just the platforms that people post on and the companies post on have moved into totally different direction, right? We used to write posts and perhaps attach an image, and now everything is video based. So most people are on TikTok. If they are not on TikTok, they're on Instagram, and Instagram has also moved from images towards videos. LinkedIn was trying to do the same. I think that didn't really work out there. The platform is just like totally different. But even they try to move towards videos. So yeah, I agree with you that in a lot of cases it's expected to have some motion design skills.
Instagram basically pushed this, right? They said we want like we are changing the algorithm to reels, and that's it. Like we want this, and this is what we will like favor, and everything else got like shadow banned technically. So
Yeah,
they sort of pushed it out, and like right now it's just a standard, which begs the question: do we even have time to learn this? I mean, this is top notch, right? This is a bad example probably, because this is like very high scale level animation, at least to me, because like I could do some of this in Blender, but the little blue ball would probably be After Effects. So yeah.
yeah. Personally, I don't have the skill or time to learn this level of animation right now. I did move into some 2D motion design, but I'm like so far from 3D with my skills that I'm not even gonna attempt to. I feel like it's much better to try and master the 2D first, and then eventually, or maybe not even try to move into 3D and perhaps outsource that to someone who is specialized in 3D. Yeah, it's it's honestly like super tough. Like I don't know how long do you think you would spend making something like this?
This, with my current skills, at least a month.
Yeah,
Like
and
just focused, and at least a month on this, like because it involves water and
yeah, that's true.
reflections, and that's very hard to like, it's very simple. It's very simple, very very clean and playful. But there are like certain shaders, like the water or like this blue 2D 3D mix, that that 2D 3D stuff I have no idea how to do. I suppose you map it in After Effects, like you overlay the animation from the 3D tool and then add the little ball in After Effects, or maybe you do it all in the 3D tool. Like who knows, right? But yeah, you probably have a person to do this, but it's great to have one, because this makes a brand stand out so much. Like if you would be choosing between like me or someone that does this on top of it, you always choose this guy over like static stuff, even if it costs more, because this is, as we said, with Microsoft, great marketing, and it's very memorable, right? So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And even like I had some people making 3D animations reach out to me and asking me if I need some 3D animations, trying to sell it to me. And I told them no, I don't have a use case for it, and also like I can't justify the price. But I run a design studio, and if I ever need the design work, I would get back to you, because this is just at a level that I cannot learn myself, or if I could, it's gonna take so much time that it's not gonna make sense
yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is definitely like a specialty kind of thing. But I really love these little pieces because you can still take a lot of inspiration from it, like from branding and logo perspective, right? Like how a little wall can make you feel or like remember it, like you know, like a simple shape, just very aimed at emotions. And I think this is another topic that we could talk about. Probably not now, but maybe in the future. Like how are we like striving for emotion and pushing emotion into design instead of the templates and eye candy stuff? Like this is what I want to see. This is awesome. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Even like these little details. If you look at like this part where the ball goes on the line and it moves the line as it moves, like you can see there's like actual physics working. I feel like that's pretty insane. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, which is Figma MCP server. Before we started, you said you don't really 100% know what
Yeah.
it is.
Explain
Um,
it to me like I'm five.
all right. So, do you know what MCP server is? Uh, do you know what MCP server is?
No, let's like dumb it
Uh,
down for me.
all right. So basically, MCP server is like it lets AIs talk to apps. Like in that's like very simple way to put it. It lets them communicate with them in a very direct way, in a way that they have access to very raw data. And what Figma does here is it pretty much lets the AI see the design not just as an image, but its structure. It lets it see the dimensions of different elements. It gives it direct access to the colors, shadows, blurs, stuff like that, so that the AI doesn't need to guess the design from an image, but instead it can like directly see the data, which is much better for the model, right? And so a while back, I think it's a month, Figma launched its Figma Make, which is pretty much a tool that lets you convert the design into a functional app. In the background, it 100% uses the Figma MCP server, because if you design something, it can pretty much one to one convert it to code, and with some really like insane details and effects. I was trying it out and I was adding some very complex shadows, and even that it managed to convert to the design. And that would be something that manually I would be doing, at least for a few hours. And from an image, the AI can't even replicate it. So now Figma is open sourcing it, or sorry, not open sourcing, but opening it up to public, basically, so that any tool that uses the MCP server as well can connect to it, right? So if you are, for example, using Cursor and coding, you can reference the designs directly from Cursor. You don't need to like screenshot it and give it to the AI to try and convert it into code. It can just see the code via the server and basically try and convert the designs perfectly into the code. Uh, I guess my question is if this is going to change the way that people make apps, right? Because now you try to make it, if you are handing off your design to developers, you are trying to make it as easy as possible for them. With this, I feel like it could be a lot easier, and maybe we could reach a point where designers like actually make the apps.
Yeah, well, this is a great question, right? Because I've been playing with V0 and like doing some stuff inside of it. I've built my whole studio website in it. Then I've built some 3JS globe in it. Like it's very fun and very easy to like navigate if you know what you're doing. And I think this is pushing it to the right direction, even though it's Figma. But yeah, this is great. I think because it allows people to make apps, as you said, and like people can make apps nowadays without this. There's like no issue, but this makes it way easier to copy one to one and adjust and tweak those little details. So it's very powerful for a one man like powerhouse, right? So you just deliver everything and you don't even have to show the client the static thing because you can just quickly put it inside of cursor or whatever and show them little MVP with very like tiny bit of motion. But again, we are getting back to the motion, and nowadays it's very easy to do with this. If it works well, it's way easier to do, and the presentation is just way different. Like having client click through the MVP and let them know how it feels is amazing. And it saves you money as well. Like it saves you tokens inside those tools. So I think this is a great step into this kind of direction. The question is how this will impact the pricing and everything else that Figma does, because this is very biased and personal opinion, but I think Figma is getting very bloated with useless features, or like features that people won't really use, like 99% of people. I'm not saying this is it. This is great, and on the surface level, as you explained to me, sounds great. But will it affect the users even more? Like, lock you more in the ecosystem if they do this?
Yeah, I think that's definitely that Figma is trying to do. If you look at, you said you feel like the Figma is getting bloated. To me, it feels like it's getting more complete, or like more robust, and it's trying to bring you from, for example, if you take Adobe as an example, they have a bunch of different apps, right? You have something for vector design, you have something for editing photos, you have something for video design. And what Figma, in my opinion, is trying to do is just bring it all together into one app. And I would not say it's bloated, because they have it fairly well separated in the app right now. You have like different sections, different modes that you can switch between. You can switch between dev mode, illustration mode, design mode. So to me, it doesn't feel bloated when I use it, but I definitely agree with the pricing part. If you look at their pricing right now, they have, I think, 5 or 4 types of seats that you can purchase, and each is like for a different use case. And I feel like, yeah, eventually it's gonna they're gonna introduce some sort of seat for making for coding or something like that as well. I think that's very much possible. I don't know if
So
it's like a good thing or a bad thing.
yeah, it's like the one of those questions like, is this good or bad? And like we probably don't know as of now. It's great for people like you, right? Because you know how to code and then you know how to design. So this just speeds up your workflow way, way fast. Like it's quicker. That I think we can agree on. The other thing is like how all of this will, use all of the data, the designs, and all that kind of stuff that Figma is doing in the background. I think every tool is doing it in the background. We are on the internet, but I think it's like important to highlight this, that it's also about privacy. And yeah, I think this is great for like quick MVPs and show to client. This is awesome. This is what I've been doing with clients. If they ask for a website, like if it's a easy website or like simple, not easy, then you just run it through V0 or whatever and like push that prototype to the client and they can like see how it works and like how responsive it is and what each button does and the hover effects, and it like makes it live and easier to the client to understand your vision. Yeah, I mean, we'll see probably, but this is very, very interesting, the direction we are taking, right?
So,
Because,
mhm.
yeah, go on.
So if you said you use Sketch instead of Figma, if Sketch added this, would you use this?
Yeah, totally. I would. 100%. I would try this out like immediately. I haven't tried the Figma Make thing because I simply don't believe it's good. It's just pulling, at least in my opinion. I haven't tried it, so I don't know. I can't speak, but I'm speaking from my personal opinion that I think it's just pulling out templates and it's very generic design, which I don't want to be part of anymore. I want to be very different and like be unique in this type of scenario. But again, it's easy and quick for those like lower cost clients, and you can push out stuff in a matter of a week. So yeah.
I think you're. I agree with you, but I think you're mistaking Figma Make for something else because they have a Figma. I don't know what it's called. I don't even know if it has a name. They have like Figma feature that lets you create designs from prompts.
Yeah,
But,
that. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Figma Make is something different. Figma Make basically takes the design that you make and it tries to code it into a. It's sort of like V0 connected to a Figma. It basically tries to code the design exactly as you have it
Oh,
and
oh
add
yeah.
functionality to
I
it.
I thought it's like making. Oh yeah, I've mistaken it with the prompt based thing when it like creates the layout for you. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like there's so many features that. Yeah, but sure. Yeah, totally. Like great.
Yeah.
If
Mhm.
if
Oh,
if it's in the two, but it pushes the designers to like understand more about the code, right? You like designers these days should probably know basic of CSS, HTML, maybe like I don't know other tools like what is it? JS, yeah, Next.js and like stuff for apps as well, like at least a little bit. And if not, like talk to probably GPT or Grok and like code it with those vibe coding tools. But like try to dissect it and understand. And I think this pushes us into the new realm that is going to happen either way, and that is like for these little very simple stuff, you won't really need a developer. Like most of the guys won't need a developer, and you can like offer this like full package from website to being live in a matter of I don't know, probably like 2 weeks if it's like a simple one pager. And I think that's great because it just filters out the bad, well, this will sound very controversial, the bad designers and bad use or like lazy people, because like you have to keep up, right? You have to keep up and like take skills and be better. So yeah, this filters out the competition a lot.
yeah. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how much you now have to do as a designer. Same goes for developers. I think the technology is just moving so fast, and now with AI, it's even faster. It's easier to learn things. There are like much more things that you can do, and it requires more from you, right? We talked about motion design at the start. Now we landed at a point where you need to understand code as a designer. And if you look back, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, there was like a separation between people that just design UX and UI, and now most people do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
if you look like way back, like into the 2000s, like people were doing this, like they were designing and coding, like it wasn't anything. Like I think we are going back, like we are making full circle, where we went from like very specialized kind of just UI, UX, writer, and all of this, and nowadays we are making that full circle and going back to as it was, where designers used to code. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I do think it's a bad thing when you get a client that misunderstands this, or, like the expectations are way too hard, and everyone nowadays thinks just make a prompt and do it. It's that easy. So, from this perspective, it can be very dangerous. But I don't think this is a bad thing where designers understand code and even code themselves. I think it helps to bridge the gap between the designers and developers.
mhm. Yeah, I also agree that it's not a bad thing. It's just for, I guess for us it's even a good thing, right? For people that are able to keep up, it's actually good because it separates the people that are that don't have the drive to learn new stuff and are perhaps not as interested in it. Um, yeah, but I think this moves us pretty nicely into the next topic, which is this app that one of huge designers online has been building by himself. You know him fairly well, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is Michal Malewicz from Poland. He's been designing for like a long, long time, and for the past 2 years, I've been privileged to work alongside him. He's a great dude, and for the past, I think, a month or so, he's been designing his own app in Claude, I think. If like I can be mistaken and he will kill me, but I think this is Claude, and yeah, this is amazing, and this is basically what we've talked about previously. Like this is bridging the gap and going full circle. So you go from a low fidelity wireframe, the ideation on paper, to sketch, and then to coding it yourself because he has knowledge. Like he's been through the 2000s and he knows a bit of code, but he's been learning like stacks and stuff nowadays just for the app. And I think this is what everyone should at least go through because you get the full like design circle thing. So you go from designing it, developing it, and then publishing it on the App Store. You go through all of these steps you have to go through because many people never designed app nor published an app on App Store. And there are like bunch of requirements for App Store to even consider publishing the app. But yeah, this is a great example of something that you create for yourself, have fun, and have like a lots of great content. And even for clients, like if client sees this, they know they can trust you because like you're showing the whole process, how you think about it, and there's like no question that you can't do it. Like this is the proof that you can do whatever you tell the client you do.
Yeah, maybe for design, sorry, for audio listeners, can you explain what the app does? Because we are showing it on the screen, but so
Yeah,
people watching
yeah,
might
right.
might get it just from that.
Yeah, totally. So like in short, this is like I don't know how much I can reveal, right? But it's on the App Store now, I think. Or at least getting approved. So this is a longevity deck. So basically it's all about biohacking. Michal has been a lot into like being like feeling very well, doing dry saunas, cold dips, electroshocks therapy, and all these kind of things he's like showing, or like researching a high quality olive oils to drink for your gut, low blood sugar, and like all of this health related stuff that I think is very important these days because we sit on our ass and do nothing. So this is an app that where basically you have a card that explains what the card does, and at the back of the card there are like benefits of it and why you should do it. And you put it into your deck. So that's your protocol. And then you can take that deck and share it with your friends. And like you all can see what you do and then talk about health and longevity and biohacking and all this kind of stuff. And the best part is that he made it for himself. So there's like huge passion in it, but it's free. Like there's no pricing. It's free to use. It's free to enjoy, and I think like I can't wait for this to go out and like see all of the stuff he does because he does a lot. So
So
yeah,
so there's an online aspect to it as well.
yeah. Like the best thing about this. I don't know if he talked about it, but there's like he doesn't collect any data, and this I think that isn't connected to any like server as long like I could be like mistaking things right now, but basically the idea is that you like share it through a link on the website, like it has like individual links, and the link can then be modified and like sent again. So it's all
Okay.
based on just a website link, and there's like no storing of data or anything. So yeah, I don't think there's like more of an online, like it begs for an online aspect of like community kind of stuff. Like you see what people do and then you can like motivate each other. Like that would be like the next step. That would be great. Yeah.
hmm I asked because you said that you can share the protocols with other people, and what interested me is that it's usually much harder to make apps that have some sort of online aspect to it. And since he is, a designer just building through AI or some very basic code knowledge, um, it made me think if how far can you actually go with apps like this? If you can make like some very very large scale app if you're a designer, or if this is like, if we can eventually will be able to make like large scale apps, or if this is going to just stay small, if it's
Yeah.
just going to be small
Well,
apps.
this is very like not very, but it's a simple app that like he was tweaking a lot by himself. So, you ask the AI to code and then you go into each line of code and tweak it yourself. So you have like full control. So like he knows that much. And I believe he learned so much doing this. But there's when you say about like the scale and how complex the apps are, I think it always begs a question of security. And I think that's the biggest factor in making any app without the developer. Because, yeah, sure, we can probably make anything these days, like no matter how complex it is, if you understand it, or like published some apps through AI, then yeah, great, you can do it. But things like storing passwords or like, these kind of things, like having an account, um, it is all about the security aspect, and that is very dangerous when doing on your own through the AI, because there's a huge gap of like data leaks and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been watching developer side of Twitter, but there has been, a lot of people making apps that have no idea how to code, and often handling user data. And exactly how you said, since AI has gotten big, there has been like a lot of controversies of people uh, making apps that are just have terrible security and that leak user data. But at the same time, I feel like, this is something that could have happened before too, and eventually when the tools get good enough, we are going to be at a point where the AI can check the security of the app and can actually most likely do it better than a person would. So I think eventually we will move to a point where the security won't be an issue, and maybe what's going to become an issue is going to be a scalability. So, you know I feel like that's a much more complex topic, making things effective for some more advanced tools. But yeah, for little apps like this, it's not going to be an issue for a long time, I think.
Yeah, so you're saying that developers are still needed.
Yeah, I think right now definitely, especially for like very very specific tasks. If you want to build a landing page, you can just prompt it to an AI. It's not going to be original, it's going to be very basic looking, but you can make it. Or you can make a simple app. You can make like a dashboard, you can make a booking app with AI fairly easily. But if you want to make some very specific components, if you want to make like get very specific behavior into the app, the AI just does not know how to make it because it has not seen that sort of component before. It doesn't know how to do it. So anytime that I try to do very specific thing that client requested, it just could not do it. But at the same time, it can just, at this point, it can one shot a whole booking app, for example. Yeah. So I think, I'm not sure how AI is going to evolve, if it's going to be able to do even like this very specific stuff. But so right now, I think developers are needed still. Eventually, I think they're just going to just like we talked with designers, they are going to move into like more general position where they are going to do a lot of things at once.
Yeah, but the right. But do you think like there's like in the future that developers will be replaced by like design engineers?
That's a good question. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think for simple apps like this, I think yes, or maybe like developers that are just making the front end, so how the app looks like and how you interact with it, could get replaced by design engineers. But the backend side of it, how the servers work, how the logic of the data processing works, stuff like that. I think that's still going to be left to the developers because it's a fairly complex thing and fairly even if the AI could handle it, I think a lot of people would not trust it, especially large companies will still want to have people doing that. While on the design side, on the front end side, I think that's, you know, the risk is not as big there, right? So I think that's gonna move towards designers, like you said.
So when we move towards like more website kind of stuff, because this is very like I think mobile app specific, because like mobile apps are generally it there's like how to say it, like the field is way narrower, like not a lot of clients will come to you for a mobile app, more of them will come for a website. So do you think like when because I think that we will still need developers, probably like making them like work different way, and designers will be making a different way, and for some small tasks like this we can do it ourselves, but I still think we will need developers for any kind of website client stuff, basically from the backend, as you said, and all this security and privacy kind of thing, and little motion. um yeah.
Yeah, I think the line is just gonna blur. I don't think it's gonna be like black and white. There's gonna be some developers that are still working on apps, perhaps in larger companies or in agencies, and then there's gonna be freelancers that are building apps on their own. And even like there's a if you look at it from a different view, you could even argue that handing a whole project to one person is much more risky than handing it to an agency that has two designers and four developers, right? It's going to be, you're probably going to feel more secure handing it over to them than to a single person that's going to say, yeah, I'm going to do it all.
Yeah, even if a single person works at it on the agency, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah. But I think we can agree on that it's very hard for juniors to get established. Like, this is basically AI is good as it is right now to replace junior developers and junior designers. And if you know it, like I think at least if you know it at level that Michal does, like you don't probably need it for stuff like he's showing. And it would replace a lot of designers and developers, junior level. So it's very harder to get into the field without the drive and the grind, and like with all of these possibilities, you at least have to know one or two tools to do your job in. So yeah, there's like a certain filtering happening in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could make literally a whole episode about this, just discussing discussing this topic. Right now we are at like 45 minutes of recording. I know before the episode we were aiming at
We
like
said
30.
30. Yeah.
So let's move on to the last topic that we have, which is this post on Twitter, where a guy posted how much he actually the design actually cost him to make and how much he charged to the client. Um, we both agreed that this is most likely just an engagement bait, right? As you tend to see on X. But in my opinion, it brings out an interesting topic, which is if you should charge clients differently based on their size, how big they are, how much revenue they make. If you should charge more to, for example, Nike than to some local person starting a local business for the same work, right? So, for example, to Nike, you're going to charge, I don't know, $100,000 for the same thing that you would charge a normal person $5,000, something like that. What do you think about that? Have you ever changed your pricing based on size of the client?
Yeah, one time I did, but this is a very, very complex question, right? Because pricing itself is very complex question, and then like talking about Nike and all these big corps versus some normal average client. The funny thing is that you probably charge Nike less than the client because there's like so much competition and it's all based on the endless cycle of pitching and free stuff that not many people realize this, but like working with those big guys in the industry will probably make you way less money than you think because you have to like lower your price to get in there unless you have contacts or yeah, because there's like you have to pitch and who has the best pitch and like free stuff and all usually wins, which I don't like to be part of. But I think you definitely should be charging if you want to and can do it, you should be charging differently based on value and the value you provide to the client. So it's a great example, Nike and some normal local client. You probably won't charge the local client 100,000 because A, they don't have it, and B, not many people will see it. So the value is not as big as if you do a marketing campaign for Nike, where millions of people will see it, right? So based just on that, you should. The other thing is if you can justify that price. Like, how do you justify going from 5K to 100K?
You mean to the client?
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, you just don't show the price, right? Initially, if you don't have the price listed anywhere, you can just tell them this is your pricing, and it's most likely, in my opinion, going to be in line with other offers. So at that point, I don't feel like you're justifying that much.
Yeah. Like, but if Nike comes to you and says like I want a design from you and you say, "Yeah, sure, 100K on based on your brief." Like how do you justify that kind of price? Like it's the same in this rage bait post, right? Like design cost and then profit. So how do you justify a 15,000 dashboard
Hmm.
versus $500 dashboard?
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's why I think that the charging more to larger clients is like fine, because you need to sell it to them, right? Like you said, if you can, I think at that point it's not that much about having the design skill. It's more about being able to sell it and sell yourself. And if you can sell $100,000 design, then do it. And if you're going to offer, I think Nike or like large company is going to be just as likely to pay a lot for a design, just as if it was cheap, right? So they're not going to care that much if you can sell it to them, and at that point, selling is the skill. When you are working with lower end clients or clients that don't have that big of a budget, they're most likely going to look at your design and see how it looks. But for the large companies, they are most likely going to ask about how it's going to work for them business wise, right? Or how they can collaborate with you in a good way. So yeah, to recap, I think it's more about selling at that point, and you just need to have that sales skill.
Yeah. Like funny enough, Michal has a great video about this, like charging and value on his YouTube channel, which is a great video that I think everyone should look at. Like how do you justify $1,000 design versus $10,000 design? And it's never about the design, right? It's about being a business partner to the client and every other aspect than design that you bring to the table. So you're able to solve the problems they are asking, and with your experience very fast. You have the results behind you. You guarantee a certain views for like to them. You explain your decisions. It's not like random, like here's your dashboard and fuck off.
Yeah.
You like explain every bit, and every like nothing is random. So, and many people don't realize this. When I see a lot of posts like this where it's about I charge 399 for this header, like should I increase my prices? You
Mm.
probably shouldn't if you're asking this question, because you're like competing against like price, which you really don't want to, because then you're like ending up on Upwork. So yeah, I think people should really like research this kind of thing, like why a client would pay 10,000 instead of a 1,000 and choose you. And yeah, that's a thing that's lacking, I think, in the community. When you see all of these posts like I've made this and this amount of dollars, and it's usually thousands and MRR and ARA and all these kind of fake stuff, mostly, not all of them, but mostly for the engagement. People don't realize that it's not about the design, but everything else, as you said, like the marketing, the problem solution, being able to explain your thoughts, and much, much, much more, which people just don't do these days. If you ask them, like, why, like, for example, in this design, why are all the buttons blue?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. The design is actually not very good, right?
I
Or
mean,
like
like,
it's
like,
it's not
good
terrible.
and bad is very, very personal, right? Let's not get into let's not get into that debate. But yeah, we can like judge the design and everything. But if you would ask the guy, and I'm not saying this is bad, right? Like if he sold this for 15K, great for him. I'm rooting for him. Great marketing skills, sales, and all that kind of stuff. Design is probably not bad. Like it looks nice and clean, but it begs a question, like, if you would ask him why is there this or this, if he would have an answer for it.
Yeah, yeah. I spoke to a few people that hired someone from Twitter who seemed to be a good designer, or their designs were very good. But when they actually got delivered the design, they were very unhappy with it because the person did not ask them pretty much anything and just delivered the thing, and that was it. And since they have before worked with some people exactly like Michal, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name properly.
It Yeah, Michal.
Michal. Um,
Yeah.
they have worked with people like him before, and they always got asked questions. They got the design explained, and in this case they just got delivered the thing, and that was it. So they were very unhappy with it, and like you said, if you are going to charge higher prices, you need to present your work in a good way. Yeah. Also, what I liked from Michal was that he also was promoting like supporting the person that you are working with after you deliver the design. So he's trying to always like track the analytics. He's trying to optimize the design. I also don't know many people who actually do that.
Yeah, not many. Like the big guys probably do it, but very few people understand that if you like do the copy, you're tweaking the copy for like next 3 to 6 months, and you're supporting that client and like testing and heat maps and all of this kind of stuff, which you don't see people talk about on social media at all. Like it's but it's understandable, right? Because like it doesn't it doesn't get as many views as you saying your startup raised 20 millions or something. Like we're speaking in general. We are not talking about Regip or Ragip or however the name is pronounced. Apologies if it's bad. It's just an example of how socials these days works, and the result, I think, it hurts the community, as you said, because people that get seen are getting the clients, and most of the time you see the client complaining on the socials that they hired some big guy and the design was very underwhelming. And that's because like these people made the following and everything on these eye candy design stuff and don't really have the results behind them or like to check, or there's no live website on the portfolio or whatever.
Hmm.
So I think this is the algorithm favors these kind of people because it's bait, it gets a lot of engagement and a lot of discussion, and it's controversial, right? But then it I think hurts the community a little because you think everyone big like this must be good, right? When it's probably the other way on X right now. I know a lot of small accounts that are like 300 followers and they do like crazy work, like crazy. Um, and they are very busy with clients, right? So they don't really have much time to post. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
did you have any experience like this? Like when you said that you have someone, someone tell you that they been let down by someone high as like on socials, like with huge following, and they thought that he is good, but then it all went sideways.
I'm not 100% sure what's the question right now.
Like, do you have any more like examples? Because it seems like you're like well connected to the community.
Hmm.
So, like, are
Yeah,
there any?
this was just the one example I had, but I would not put like everyone who's
No, no,
trying to
totally.
make trendy posts into one bag, because there's a very thin line between the people that do it right and that do it wrong. A lot of people just try to ride the wave and sort of try to play the game, try to profit on it. Um, but they still do very good design work on the background, and on the other hand, there are people who also ride the wave but do bad work. Right, their designs look pretty, sure, but when the client actually hires them, they're in many cases not happy with them. uh, so I think it's difficult, right? Because even I do it, honestly. I often try to post some revenue, or try to ask some sort of pointless question in the posts, because I know that when I do it, the post just gets 10x the views than it would get if I don't do it. If I post the same design and just ask some pointless question in the header, versus if I just post the design and perhaps write something interesting about it, the design of the pointless question gets much more views, and perhaps gets me like a client on a call, right? So I think it's also it also might differ for people depending on where they get their clients from. For example, I know you are one of those small accounts that posts really good work, but then when I actually looked at your followers, I was like, why the hell does this dude have like so little followers? Uh, yeah, so I think it really depends where you get your clients from also, and then depending on that, you can adjust your style of work.
Yeah, yeah. Like funny enough, I get zero clients from
Hmm.
X, like zero. Yeah, sure. I had like couple people reach out to me in the last 2 months, but those weren't like clients. It was more like help at the studio or yeah, this kind of stuff. But most of the clients, it's just pure networking and being human and like talking to people, which I enjoy way more than these kind of baity posts. But I do agree with you that it brings way more engagement if you do that baity stuff like A or B or did I cook and all these kind of headlines. Like Twitter just or X, whatever it is. I still call it Twitter. Just prefers like controversy and very like rage bait kind of stuff over anything else, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Honestly, I think it's just people go to Twitter to browse and just doom scroll, and they don't really want to think about complex topics. I guess it's really hard to say, but I also would not say it's like different on any other platform. Maybe I think the platform that gets the closest to being actually like informational is YouTube. People still like watch long form videos on YouTube, and they care about complex topics. But on any other social network, it's mostly just simple stuff, and being interesting, being funny, and trying to convey our message in the simplest way possible. Honestly, yeah. All right, we are reaching to about an hour, so I think we could bring this to an end today.
Yeah, I think it was a great first episode, right? I
Yeah,
can't wait for all the people to comment that we are trashing these kind of posts, which we
yeah.
are not, by the way. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We are planning to do these every week, hopefully. So if you like to hear us talk, be sure to follow, subscribe, or whatever it's called on the platform that you are going to be watching on. And we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, see ya.